We're talking to Olly Wright from Emakina. You have some ideas about how we can use blockchain today as online marketeers?
Yes, I think a lot of people, when they hear blockchain, they think Bitcoin, and they're not aware that there's a vast number of startups now providing a whole bunch of other services based on blockchain. Now, what blockchain does, it's complex, but a simple way of understanding it is to think that it enables you to create unique digital objects and to have the record of who owns those objects to be available and shared in public. And what that can do is it can basically change your product strategy and say, in the same way that we could give away items and things to our customers that are physical objects, like a pair of shoes, you can also now give away digital objects that they can own, that are clearly theirs, that can be displayed and shared.
And 6 months ago this was not possible, and now because of new services and startups, we can do it today.
Well, exactly, yes. What's happened is there's been a massive burst of funding and startups in the world of blockchain based on the success of Bitcoin, where there's now, literally every week I look, there's new startups offering these kind of services in a whole range of areas, but for instance, an area where I think this is immediately relevant to, say, traditional e-commerce businesses is in loyalty management. We operate loyalty teams now using our own custom points and tokens or whatever. If you use the blockchain, it enables a whole wider bunch of functionality, and these tools are open source or very low cost or from these new service providers. So it creates a vastly larger number of possibilities for what you would do with your customers.
Can you describe one example?
Yeah, I gave some simple examples. It's hard to come by because it's very new. The simplest example is one that Whopper did recently, where they changed their loyalty scheme. They did this in Russia for a specific reason, because the Russians are quite into cryptocurrencies. Their leader there is they changed their loyalty token into what's called Whopper coins, which were a cryptocurrency. So the people who are buying Burger King stuff in Russia, they get these tokens, they can trade them with each other, and then they can use them to buy new Whoppers. But it becomes a tradable currency. It's a very simple idea. The one that I was talking about a bit in my speech was around making desirable digital objects for your customers as rewards. And in this case...
But back to Whopper, they made a cryptocurrency out of Whopper coins, so you could basically do that with every air mile kind of scheme, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you make your KLM coins.
Yeah, absolutely, and then you get all the benefits of the blockchain in terms of being able to extend it, being able to share it and trade it and plug it into other systems, for example.
A whole range of new possibilities arises there.
A huge range, yeah. For instance, another example I gave is a company called Patagonia, and they support, I think, over 8...
It's a clothing company, right?
Yes, they support over 800 charities. They currently have their own loyalty scheme. If they switch that to this type of software, then the ability of their users to donate any of their coins or value to any of these charities is a day's job to set it up, rather than an enormously complex piece of work.
Interesting. Any other examples?
Well, yes, the one that I find harder for people to grasp, but I think is very important, is that you can essentially embed these tokens in any object. So, for example, imagine you're a fashion company and you take some very nice conceptual photographs with an artist of some of your shots. You could then give limited edition digital prints, which is what blockchain enables, so a photo that's one of 100 only with your, if you like, certificate of ownership to your most loyal customers. So you could essentially sell high-end fashion photography to your customers for their loyalty points in a digital format.
So basically, you know, the Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency is a limited amount of things that have value. You can create a picture in the same way that has value, and you can create 1,000 of them, and then they become tradable with the same mechanism.
Yes, exactly. What blockchain enables is digital scarcity or uniqueness. You can have unique digital objects. So that piece of code, those pixels, those are mine. I own them, which is a very new and slightly mind-bending concept, but that's what it enables. That's what a Bitcoin is. I own this particular digital coin, no one else does. It doesn't have to be a coin, it can be an image, it can be a piece of video, it could be an application or any piece of software or creative content or brand content that a brand wants to produce.
So for instance, H&M has a cooperation with Madonna. You create a very nice image of that, and the Madonna fans can buy this, and it's a limited edition digital image.
Yes, absolutely. Or H&M could say, if you're an H&M customer and you have a certain amount of loyalty points, you could buy that. You could maybe get a video behind the scenes of a shoot with it, or photography from it as well. So any digital assets, and they become your ownable digital items, which gives them value. At which point, people actually appreciate having them. They want to collect them, they want to own them, they can trade them. and they have all the benefits of digital distribution. So there's no cost of, the cost of shipping or packaging or manufacture isn't there in the same way. So you can.
And it's possible today.
It's possible today, yes, with existing startups, and there's a massive list of new startups. What's possible is changing weekly. The amount of investment and innovation in this space is off the scale. Never seen anything like it. And I know agencies like Emakina, but a lot of others, like even guys like Deloitte, also are pushing this and saying this is something very serious that we have to look. I just went to a presentation here that was fantastic by a guy who's introduced an open blockchain-based marketplace where you can buy and sell anywhere in the world on this marketplace using blockchain with no intermediary. So that means, that you own your own data, there are no charges. When they went live, it takes 5 minutes to set up your shop, and within the first day they had sales within 178 countries. So that's the scalability of this kind of system and the speed that it enables. So it's a complete game changer, I think.
So the worldwide aspect is also very important.
The what aspect?
The worldwide aspect.
Absolutely, yeah. There's borderless, completely borderless.
Do you have any powerful ideas that you think will become available technology-wise in the next year?
I think around this, I think these sorts of services are going to dramatically increase. I think you'll see we already are seeing lots of startups who will be offering these services to traditional businesses to improve all sorts of operations. Another example I think we'll see a lot of is in supply chain management and managing the identity of products. For example, imagine you're in food and you have some high value foods. You can track them through the supply chain using this technology very simply. So for example, imagine you're a cocoa company. Well, the cocoa that you make, where it's made and how it's made is extremely important because that affects the value. It's a very broad value differences based on where it comes from. This can be encoded into the pack, for example, with a smart token, at which point you can monitor your whole supply chain, very low cost, totally secure, etc. So there'll be a lot in that. There's another very nice example in the States where they are setting up microgrids for trading electricity. Imagine you have solar on your roof and your neighbor has solar. They have more power. You need some power because your battery didn't charge or whatever. You can essentially buy some power off their battery locally using a currency exchange with no central market, no having to talk to the electricity company or anything like that. So you can have a local electricity balancing with payments built in at local levels. And this is being built now, for example, in America. You go put this into Google and you'll keep going and all day and all night on the answers.
Do you have a piece of advice for online marketeers that want to get started?
Yes, I would say understand blockchain. And people get distracted. They think that it's Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just the first application built on blockchain, and the really game-changing technology is blockchain itself. There's some great examples and introductions to that. Try and get an understanding of what it is, and then pay attention to service providers creating new services on blockchain that would be relevant to your business. So pay attention to it, I think.
Thank you very much.